coordination system in animals. Stimuli, receptors, and effectors are three main parts of this system, and they make up this system, in fact. Well, starting with the stimuli, we know that all living things, they have some characteristics such as nutrition, reproduction, movement, growth, and so on. And one of them is a sensitivity. Sensitivity means to respond to the changes of their environment. And stimuli here means the changes of the environment of an organism. For example, it can be sound, it can be movement, it can be light, it can be anything that an organism reacts to or responds to. So, stimuli is defined as changes in an organism environment which are sensed by specialized cells called receptors. But how about receptors? What are receptors? Receptors actually are biological transducers. Transducers mean those devices that can convert some forms of energy to electric signals. For example, microphone can convert the sound to electrical signals or impulses. So these receptors in human body also acts like those transducers. So that's why they are called biological transducers. So they sense and they convert it to electrical signals, such as, for example, eye, ear, and even skin of your hand. Uh, it depends on which part of your body that you can sense. For example, skin can sense so heat and coldness. So that part is also called a receptor. Or for example, receptors can be big organs like the stomach, the heart, the brain, and so on. So these are receptors, and the last one is effectors. So what are effectors? Effectors simply mean responses. So the organism responds using effectors. For example, muscles are effectors. When you move, when you respond to a change, suddenly you move, you make a movement suddenly. That muscles are effectors, that they move without you knowing, without even deciding to move. So can be muscles and also glands. Glands can also be called as effectors or categorized as effectors. Now, what is coordination? So we learned three important terms, but coordination means the system, the communication between these three parts. So an organism needs to have this very, very quick and fast communicative system between these three parts: stimuli, receptors, and effectors. Okay, so because they want to catch their food or they want to avoid predators, so this system, communication system, should be very, very quick. We have two communication system, one which is called nerves, that we are going to talk about now, and another one is hormones, that we will talk later maybe about hormones. That is another communication system or coordination system. So in the way in which receptors pick up signals and then pass information on to effectors is called coordination. But how is it possible that a system, which we know human's body is made up of cells, how it can be done through the cells? Well, this system needs a specialized cells, and specialized cells, as you see here, they have also special features and shape, but they have some main parts as other cells, other body cells. For example, cytoplasm, cell membrane, nucleus. So they have these main parts, but um, they also have some different parts, such as these fiber-like threads, long, which is this one is called axon, and these small um, fibers here, which they pick up the signals from the nearby is called uh, dendrites. So these are dendrites, and then they have ending nerves. Okay, so they pick up the signal and then they send it to another nerve or neuron nearby. Okay, so this shape that they have, the long shape and a covering myelin sheath, which is a uh, layer of fat-like substance covering this around the axon. This will help the signals to be sent very quickly and accurately. So this structure, this shape of these cells are the reason why the coordination system can work very, very quickly. We have two humans body. There are two nervous system. One is central nervous system and another one is peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system contains the brain and the spinal cord here, as you see, the spinal cord. But what is the role of this central nervous system in the coordination system? Well, that plays the main part in this coordination system. And this is the one that sends the signals to the right effectors. So technically speaking, this system, let's put everything together, all the information that we have got so far to here by using this diagram. And the diagram shows here receptors. Receptors here pick up the stimuli and they actually convert it to signals, electric signals or impulses, and then they send it along sensory neurons that they have in their tissue or nearby, and then this signal is sent to a relay neuron, which this part is actually in your or in the central nervous system. So the signal comes to this part, and then from this part it is decided where to send this signal to, which effector. For example, if you are touching a hot plate by your hand, there should be a signal sent to your hands muscle to take off your hand quickly, not to your legs. So that's why here is decided where to send the signal to. And then they will send the signals to motor neurons. And then that is actually the main or the whole function of this system. And that is called reflex arc. And okay, so we can see in another diagram very clearly that, for example, here receptor senses the heat or the coldness, sends the signal along your spinal, and it will reaches your spinal cord through the relay. So here we can see relay neurons here, and then from relay neurons, which we will see the figures in next slide, the signal is sent to the motor neuron, and motor neuron will send the signal to the correct or the right effector, which is your muscle, your hands muscle actually. As you see, three types of sensory neurons we were talking about here in these two parts, and one is sensory neurons, that they get the signals by these dendrites, and then they send the signal to a relay neuron, which is actually in your spinal cord or in the central nervous system, and then from there, as you see, it is decided where to send to. So see, it must be sent to a correct neuron, to a correct motor neuron actually. And the motor neuron, the shape is like this, a specialized shape, a specialized cells. That is why this system can communicate very quickly and very fast. In this table we can see some examples, like for example, eye is a receptor, and a stimulus for the eye is the light, and the sensation is sight, seeing. Ear, for example, sound. Yes, sense. It can sense sound, and then the sensation is hearing and movement of the body, balance, for example. Nose, chemicals in the air, the sensation is a smell. Tongue, similarly, tongue, chemical in the food and taste, and skin, pressure, temperature are the stimuli. It can sense these two things, and the sensation will be pain, pressure, heat, or coldness. So why we are talking about reflex action, and why it's called reflex action, and because there are examples of involuntary actions. What does it mean, involuntary actions? Involuntary actions means they are very quick, and without thinking the body responds immediately without thinking. So we don't think when we see something dangerous is happening nearby us, so we just run. Or similarly, animals, when they see the predators, they just run quickly, they react, they respond. So they don't think. There is no time for thinking. That's why it's called involuntary actions. But there are some other actions that we do. Actually, we do it because we decide to do it. For example, reading a book, raising your hand to answer a question, choosing your way, where to go, changing your direction. These are the things that you decide, and is under your own control. But involuntary actions, they are not under your control, and your body does it immediately, because the main purpose of your brain is to keep you alive. Okay, thanks for watching this part of the coordination system in animals.